Good morning, children. Today we're starting our new unit of work called Float. And today is lesson 4, plot point 1. Boy makes a paper boat. Now, I hope you really enjoyed making your paper boats on Monday. They were quite hard. We found it quite hard in class, but we persevered. And I loved all the pictures that you sent on the class dojos. Today, we're going to have a look at the beginning. So, your page today should look like this. On your thinking side, we're going to divide it into Learning Chunk 1, Learning Chunk 2, and Learning Chunk 3. Learning Chunk 1 has 2 word banks, Learning Chunk 2 has 2 word banks, but Learning Chunk 3 only has 1 word bank. And as you can see, I've included the symbols, and the top one you can see is repetition. Learning Chunk 2 is feelings, and Learning Chunk 3 is noticing. So, learning objective. Today we're going to write effective sentences for our story. And our steps to success are repetition for effect, feelings, and noticing. Here is our narrative map. We're right at the beginning at plot point 1. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to think about our experience day we had on Monday when we made paper boats, and we used the diagrams for the instructions. And we also looked at bossy verbs, imperative verbs, and we used those yesterday, on Tuesday, to write a set of instructions. So, as you can see on Word Bank 1, I've written tear, fold, and measure. Now what I want you to do is I want you to write 3 or 4 imperative verbs, bossy verbs, in Word Bank 1. So you can pause the video for a few minutes. Okay, how did you get on? I've added some more to my Word Bank 1. So I've added measure, crease, hold, turn, reverse, flip, mirror, copy, and bend. And I'm going to leave this slide up for you. You could pause the video because you can magpie, borrow some of these words, but you are going to need them to write on the writing side, to try and put as many down as you can. Okay. So now we've got Word Bank 1 with all of our bossy verbs. We're going to have a look at time adverbials for finally. Now I've thought of 2 words, eventually, at last. And what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to add 2 more to the list on Word Bank 2. So if you pause the video. Okay, so we've got eventually, at last, in the end, after some time later. So we're going to pause the video again, and you will be able to magpie, borrow, or think of your own words to add to Word Bank 2. Okay. So now we're on our writing side, and I'm going to think of repetition. And what I've done here, as you can see, I've highlighted some words and I'm going to use these in a sentence. So I'm going to model it for you first. So I've picked crease. I like the word crease. Crease by crease. Fold by fold. Turn by turn. And you can see here how we've got that pattern of 3 that we've been using all the way through these units of work. So I'll repeat again for you. Crease by crease, fold by fold, turn by turn. Now we could pause the video here. I'd like you to pick 3 bossy verbs, imperative verbs, and I'd like you to create your 3 short sentences. How did you get on? I'm sure you're doing really well. So I'm going to read back over what I've written. Crease by crease, fold by fold, turn by turn. Now, I'm going to think about how we felt when we made that boat. So it took us quite a while, and I've picked eventually. Eventually the boy had built a fine paper boat. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pick one of the time adverbials and complete the next sentence. Try and change some of the words. Please don't use eventually. And here I've used the word fine. What you could do is pick a different word. Eventually the boy had built a super paper boat. The boy had built a fantastic paper boat. Your choice. So I'm going to pause. You can pause the video now and complete your first sentence. Remember to write on the writing side. And don't forget your punctuation. There must be a full stop after your 3 short sentences and a full stop at the end. And also, eventually, because it's a time adverbial, fronted adverbial needs a comma. Learning chunk 2. We were so pleased when we made our boats. Some of the children were really happy because it was quite difficult. Now I want you to think about how you felt when you made your boat. And I've written 3 words: proud, happy and thrilled. So we're all on the positive, really high positive words here. So I want you to think of 3 more to add to the list. I will pause the video here. How did you get on? I've added a few more to help you. So we've got excited, satisfied, chuffed. I like that word, chuffed. Overjoyed, delighted. So your turn now to magpie, borrow, or add to your word bank 1 as many of the positive feelings words. Pause the video now. So now we're on word bank 2, learning chunk 2. Now, ran. I'm going to think of verbs for ran. So, rushed, hurried, raced. What I want you to do now is try and come up with 2 or 3 more words, verbs for ran. I've written pelted, pounded, charged, belted. I'll pause the video now. You can magpie, borrow, or add to your own word bank 2 list verbs for ran. So now I've put up a slide and I've got my positive feelings there: proud, overjoyed, happy, delighted, thrilled, excited, satisfied and chuffed. And my verbs for ran: rushed, belted, hurried, raced, charged, belted, punded. Now here I'm going to start my sentences by saying how I was feeling. So it's going to be, I've picked excited and proud. Excited and proud, he dressed quickly and raced outside onto the steps. Remember, he's made his boat now, and you know, he's rushing outside, he's very excited, he's very proud, and he wants to play with the boat. Learning chunk 3. Now this is where we're going to look at noticing. Noticing. Now, grey. It's very grey because it's been raining. So I'm going to look for synonyms for the word grey. And here I've got charcoal, graphite, ash, pewter. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to pick 2, maybe 3 of the words, synonyms for grey, and add them to learning chunk 3, word bank 1. Okay, so you can see now I've written chrome, platinum, slate, pallid, steel and lead. Pause the video now. You can magpie, borrow or add to your own word bank 1. Writing side, learning chunk 3. So here we've got charcoal, our graphite, our ash, our pewter, chrome, platinum, slate, pallid, steel and lead. Now look at our sentence. As he looked up, so he's come outside and he's on the steps. As he looked up, he noticed the sky was charcoal grey. I'd like you to complete a sentence using a synonym for charcoal and grey. And if you look at my sentence, as he looked up, he noticed. Try and change the word noticed and have a think. As he looked up, he could see. He observed. So I'm going to pause the video now so you can complete your sentence on your writing side. How did you all get on? I'm going to read now the 3 sentences, crease by crease, fold by fold, turn by turn. Eventually, the boy had built a fine paper boat. Excited and proud, he dressed quickly and raced outside onto the steps. As he looked up, he noticed the sky was charcoal grey. Now, my super sentence stackers, please take a photograph of your writing side. Make sure it's in focus. Make sure that it's a close-up so I can read it. I have found it quite difficult to read some of the work because it's quite far away. And I wonder who's going to be at the beginning of the next slide for today's super sentence stackers. So